Well, guys, I hope y'all are doing all right on this Sunday. It is March 3rd. I have a word for you on today. If we are not positioning ourselves, how can we be able to hear the voice of God? How can we be able to hear anything at all from Him if we're not in position? We got to be able to stand still, stand firm in our ways always, and our ways to be His ways that He has for us. As we're an image of Him, we got to embody that. Being in a position to hear the calling for our life, or we're going to be acting out of our own will, which is free will, as we look at the story in the Bible of Adam and Eve. God is the word, but how many of you know the word that was planted, she allowed it to enter her ear gates. It entered her ear gates, and we see what happened from there. We got to be careful and cautious of what we take in and what we choose to believe. But in the word, we will constantly be an attack of lies and stuff that has us buried deep and has us in a grave and not be able to live the life. We will be here just existing instead of living in the world that He has for us. We won't be able to see His fruits if we're not able to take heed of His voice and His word and everything He has for us. So she had the instructions of what Eve, of what God told her to do. But how many of you know sometimes we still have our ways and what we think is right, what we feel, and our curiosity sometimes gets us in trouble. But God has already told us. So it's like if you do choose what you continue to do, you don't see the end of the line of the results of what you choose to believe by your flesh. Though that you a spirit, you allowing the flesh to actually be your voice and be the source that you continue to be gaining on your lack of knowledge and your lack of understanding. How many know we gotta trust God? We gotta keep His word, faith, and stand firm in His ways, and know that what He said He means for us to do. But if we're not listening to His voice, if we're not listening to what His word, He was a word in the spirit, and then He came embodied into a body. And so we gotta look at it. Spirit, mind, body, and soul. We act on our mind, body, and freeness, what we think, what we feel, but we choose not to listen to His understanding of knowledge in His Bible. We see the current lack of knowledge in our world today when we have the free will of the Bible, of the words of prayer, supplication of Him to work in us. A spirit knows a spirit. We have a spirit in us, but we're not leaning into the spirit that created us, that knows everything before us, before we was even born, before we, became a thought. He was the one that created us by His thought. And how many know it's like reciprocal how the thought of her hearing another one that wasn't like God, she was able to allow the pride of one or more to seep into her soul when God said, you have all this, but I said, don't touch this, don't eat of this. You have a curiosity, but what also did I tell you? What also I tell you to stand firm, man? What did I tell you? What has more in store for you? Though they try to slew you, each and every day at work, what did I call you of a position of, outside of here? Their position of here, of this temporary label of being a boss, being a manager, being a supervisor. What did I call you in the kingdom of your position? But if you're not in a position of hearing my voice, how can you be able to know or begin to even ask or think what I have for you if you're not standing in the affirmation of what I have told you in the word? What have I told you, Eve? What have I told you, Adam, that you chose to betray me? Did I chose to, you're constantly still betraying God when He has told you already to not do this, not do this. It's like, don't touch, you have to touch you tell a child not, not to touch the hot stove, but they have to, sometimes have to touch it to see, oh, it's hot, caution, it's hot. So we have to learn by our mistakes and experiences, but sometimes you go through those experiences, okay, you learn it, okay, what am I going to do from that once I learn, once I experience? But His ultimate thing was He told them, which is like a big thing, to not disobey. But sometimes we don't want the obedience of what God tells us to do, And how many know, as a punishment, God will take us out of situations that He has called us for, and then maybe down the road we will be brought back, do a roundabout to that situation where we was faced with, and how we gonna be able to react, how we are able going to be able to go through that same experience. Are we gonna go back to our own will and our free will, or are we gonna go into the free will of knowing that God is my Godhead? He is my head on my life. I'm choosing to go about this the way that God wants me to go about this way. Not my will, but my will. Let my will be, let His will to be done, not mine. Because if I do it, if I continue to do it, I'm gonna make a mess out of it. And so we gotta be careful ways of what we are around, what we listen to, what can interfere in the blessings and what God has for us. Because it can stand for one thing. How many know it can be a change of effect? How it was planted and mind, and then it seeped into curiosity of, now I see all this that God told me not to do, but now I see, and this is because of my choice. And now that I do see, okay, I gotta do better. I gotta be able to do better. Once I see, when He told me this, I ultimately had to make that choice to eat of it, to actually see and understand what He has told me to do. The disobedience and everything else stem from it. I will have a labor of pain. I will have a labor of trials and tribulations. Where He said, "You'll be birthed in it." Though that women carry their labor in their stomach, guys as well. We all have burdens and labors, but how many know we have those labors, but we don't try to carry those labels as it's like cross. We give Him all what we're going to do. Know that He is there. Surrender to Him, and know that's not us, that we cannot be able to do it on our own strength. Because if we think we can do it on our own, then we're thinking we're on our own guides, and we're once again leaning into our own understanding and continue to make mess even more of the situation at hand. So we got to really be careful, be in position. I'm just out here in the park. I wanted to do this message, this prophetic message, a bold declaration that's prophetic, that I'm speaking over everyone that's taking a look at this video, to stay firm in your position. Be confirmed in what God has said for you, and don't be able to be in disarray of what other people say, or maybe you feeling inadequate and you forget your calling. But remind yourself, do His word, do prayer, supplication, and fasting, to be able to seek His voice and to hear His voice if you have not heard His voice already. Stand firm in your ways, because if you're not standing firm in your ways, you're going to continue to be a lost sheep. And He's telling you, come back over here, my sheep. Come back here with my other sheep. Doesn't matter if it's 2 or 1. He wants all of us to be together. All of us. Doesn't matter who. And know that you are chosen. Know that you have a plan that He has already set out for you. But if you continue to do your own will, you will not be able to see that. And you don't want it to be too late where you're in hell, or the rapture comes and it's like, God, oh God, I don't want to be here burning in the lake of fire. I don't want to be here. And you said this, but it took me to go do some stuff to be able to understand, okay, wow, your word is not just your word. It's a life outside of here. I'm thinking I'm living my life, but I'm not going to really freely see, as the Israelites, see all your promises and everything for me if I continue to be stubborn, keep doing the same old thing. I don't want to be as Moses. He was older than his age, and he's like, God, if I can just I want to be able to be in the promised land. But God said, okay, I will let you go to the mountain, in your old age, to see how far I brought you, and how many know we don't want to get to a place where we're so complacent, and God has led us and gave us position of it, but He gets to some certain point of time that He gets tired of keep talking to us and keep just do this, do that, and He gets to the point, I will bring you to this, but you will not see the fruitness that you could have been in, but because of your mistakes and but this and this, I had to keep telling you over and over, you will not be able to see the fruits. They will be able to see the fruits of the labor, but you will not be able to see it. You will die in your old age seeing far ahead of what could have been. But at least you saw it, but you wasn't able to actually be able to be in it. And how many of you know God has a plan, a purpose for us all to get to the promised land? Streets paved with gold, everything, no worries, no doubts. So get back on your mantle, get back on your position of being able to be a steward, better listener, being obedient. Because how can you be obedient in the life of others and what they teach you if you can't even be obedient to the Father, what He asks of you? Like, that is what really matters, where it stands off for the obedience. I just want y'all to think about that. Don't play with it. This is serious. Really get adamant about what is yours. It's free of charge. But how many, it's our own minds and our soul. What is it driven to? What is it deriving from if we are not in the position to hear? And what really can take time to really, because time is commodity. You can't get it back. But it's like, what can I do now that I do know? Okay, I need to do this. I need to do that. Set a plan in action. Have a faith in action. Have and know that faith is everything. That you got to attach your faith, attached towards everything. Because you can't have dominion if you don't have the dominion. If I don't have faith that it's going to work out for my good, but I'm not putting faith into it. If I'm not believing already, attach my faith, knowing that the faith is the substance of things hoped for, but the evidence of not seen. I gotta believe, even though I have faith, that things are gonna work out for my good. I gotta trust Him. It's in my good. It's in my will. Before He even created me, it was His thought, and then it became a word that He created me within spirit and body, and I gotta be able to embody that as well as a spirit. And as a spirit, I gotta be able to believe it, speak it, and be able to embody it in my body. If I'm gonna be what He had created to me to be, because He's not a God that He should ever lie. I'm basically saying He's a liar, of He spoke and that was a thought. Just because it hasn't not happened doesn't mean that it will not take place. I gotta be in the will of it to take place. If not, it's not gonna show for itself. I'm gonna continue to see the routine of insanity of doing it my way, rather than trusting the waiting period for Him to move. And I would be able to see the fruitfulness of it once I stay patient and wait, doing it according in order, and make sure I'm in alignment. Because if I'm not in alignment, I'm not gonna be seeing everything He has for me. I'm not gonna see nothing at all. But my downfall of not trusting and being obedient to Him, because of my thought and not trusting Him. And I just want y'all to stand firm. This month of March, there's an acceleration for you to get back on to do, because God has so much for you to do. But if you're not in a acceleration and be able to hear His voice and be in position, you're not able to really see what He has for you. And it's going to take a long time because you're not in position, not in alignment. And because of a thought, what you hear, you're not hearing His voice, you're going to be out of place, you're going to be out of position, and not be in a position that He has called for you to do, to be able to move you and to show you things, because you're out of position. Know that you got to get a position. Know that it has to be in a position that He has called for you, not no one else but His, because His plan and everything is, and it's an authority of what He says. He means He's not a God that He should lie, and He speaks it boldly, and He asks of you to walk in a position boldly, not scarily, because there's so much that is asked for you to do. Someone's blessing is waiting for you to get in your position. Someone's waiting for you because they needing to hear from you to get out of what they're going through. But if you're not positioned, how can they be able to move? Your acceleration moves someone else's acceleration, because they may be going through something similar. But if you're not positioned, you will not be able to see that. They will not be moving forward, because we got to think it's not just us. Who are we in representation of? Not our own self, but our God, our Father. We're not on this earth to be playing around. There's a purpose and plan for us, a duty call for all of us as Though that we may not know it, though that, we shouldn't be waiting for a label. There's missions for us to go ahead and do, not wait for a label. As you may have experience in something, work on that experience. Craft it. It's not meant to be perfect. If you have a gift from being a prophetic, prophetess, continue to ask God to use it as a vessel for so many other people that are hurting, that you be able to be a light, to be able to be a speaker for them that they're needing to be spoke to when they're going through something in a certain situation. Even for yourself, to be able to speak over yourself, not just other ones, because you need to be able to have that feeling for yourself to be able to be a vessel. And continue to be uplifting to others. You got to be able to uplift yourself as well, because if you're not in the word, if you're not get filled up, how can you be able to fill others daily? So I just ask for you all to stand firm. Know that this month is a celebration, a resurrection. As you in position, there's going to be something resurrected in you. Something has to die. Friends have to go away. Some friends not going to be in your circle, because God's saying to you, they're seasonal. They're meant for that that season. Though that it came in your life, it was meant to be, but it's no love lost. It's business, because God has called you so much that you are called for more other people that are attached to you. And he has something for them as well. Just because you're leaving them doesn't mean that you're being detached. There was a foundation there. But now what is up for y'all as y'all came together? What are y'all gonna do for other people that need you? Because you need to be in a position for other people to be able to get on their celebration and know that there's a resurrection in their souls, in their mind, in their body and souls. We got to remember who we are and what we are, to be resurrected, and know that we want the spirit, calling that spirit for a resurrection, for a fire in our bones. Shut up in our bones and be able to speak it, and to be able to know that there is something in us. We got to reunite it. We got to be able to yearn more and more for God, for him to know that we want him. We're not looking for something to be just stagnant. We're not meant to, be just content in what we have, because God has caused us so much. We want more, but we're not able to do the work. We want the blessings, want to be child of God, but we're not listening to what God has called us. He can't call us nothing if we don't know who we are and what we are. So we got to know already, believing, like I said before, faith is the substance of things hoped for, other things not seen. Having faith in God, having strength and knowing that God gives us a strength above all things, over the dominion of the fish in the sea. That was the first thing he told them that they would have dominion of. So that though that you were out of the garden, now here comes a different position I have called for you to do. I have an assignment for you. What are you going to do for your assignment once I tell you? What are you going to do? Hope this has blessed you. Stay faithful. Stay truth in his word. Hope this has resonated in your heart. May it bless your household and your family. And know that you are a representation of your God, of your Father. Not just yourself, but you are called for more, because you are connected. You are a seed to him. So what is it for you to do to grow? These are key points I want you to know before I end this video. During this video, I want you to know, stay in your position, get in position. Number 2, be able to know that you are a seed, that you are important, that you have an identity. You may not know, you may have an identity crisis, and right now you feel inadequate, but know that you are a seed of God. You should never, ever, ever forget where your identity is from. You are a child of God. You are a woman of God. Number 3, staying faithful in his word through everything. Knowing that faith, you got to attach it towards everything. Faith is everything. If you don't have that, you don't have nothing at all. Number 4, knowing that you have a calling on your life. You have a call on your life. Don't allow words. Words do hurt sometimes, but remember the word of God. In the beginning, as I said, the word was God, and God was the word. Remember that before you even became life, it was a word. You were spirit, and then God created you in body. Number 5, I'm sorry. I love you all. Know that you're loved. Know that this season is coming. Your bills, everything that you've been stressing for and praying for, it is coming. Acceleration. God's going to accelerate some things that you want and been praying for, that you need and not want, and that you've been calling for it. And here's your call. But sometimes how many times you got to be able to hear his voice. If you're not able to hear his voice, then you're not going to say, okay, it's going to be a little bit longer. I got to stay in the waiting period to be able to hear I'm hearing his voice, but I got to really, really hear his voice, that this is the waiting period right now, that I need rest and restoration for the acceleration that's coming. Because once I'm out here, I'm doing, stuff already. People don't know. I'm not doing it for people, but he's gonna have stuff already attached, because I'm his king son. I'm his king daughter. He's gonna have so much for me to do. That's why everything's gonna be in acceleration, because so many people need to hear from you that you don't be busy. He's still gonna give you rest, but you also gotta be mindful of just knowing to be patient, because he works in the time of patience. He is the God of no time at all. We putting a time on him and waiting. We need to wait on him, not on things materialistic, because that goes away. But how many know we need the Spirit to move in us, to be able to hear, to be able to be in a position, to be able to do what he has called for us to do. I love y'all. Stay blessed and be safe. So guys, I hope y'all